Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others, or by fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Machedo is the best.
All right, in this video, I'm going to share with you 8 top headlines that have been going around about UAE. You could say viral or whatever. But these 8 different headlines have been scattered in different newspapers and media outlets. And one of them, they even deleted and censored it. So I'll share with you what I have. Feel free to give me your thoughts and let me know if it is actually happening, not happening, or, because sometimes they mention stuff in the news which is nothing but hype. Okay. Quick introduction. Name is Loy Machedo, personal branding strategist. I help people get well-paying jobs in Dubai, UAE, also Saudi, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, and people book my services for coaching, consulting, both for personal and professional issues, challenges, whatever. Details are put down below. Okay, so let's quickly move on. What are the 8 breaking news headlines or whatever? This one is pretty shocking because it was featured in Arabian Business. I read it. Then when I decided to make a video, they deleted that article. So I do not know why they deleted it. But I've managed to get the residual articles in other places. So this is what it says. UAE is giving you a visa for life. That means you'll be able to purchase a visa for life from Ras Al Khaimah and, done and dusted. Personally speaking, I think that's very bad for UAE. Okay. The reason being is when you keep renewing your visa, you keep generating more and more money. And the more expensive you make a visa, the better it is. But here, what they're saying is you can get a visa for life, your full life, with just a one-time payment of 16,500 dirhams, which is super cheap. I mean, if I were to actually check in USD, AD to USD 16,500, I'll tell you, it's hardly anything, man. 16,500. It's hardly $4,492. So $4,500 US, they're going to give you a visa for life through Ras Al Khaimah. There are 7 benefits. You get a residence visa, you get third-party visa processing. I don't know, what is that supposed to mean? Okay, you get a medical test, which obviously you need to have. Emirates ID card, okay. Pre-approved for business license, you can set up a business. You can have a workstation and you can sponsor members for relocating to the UAE. I personally feel with all these benefits, this is, if it is actually true, it's one of the best, cheapest, and ideal kind of visas because you get a visa for life. You don't have to bother about anything. And they're saying they're going to give you all this now. The question is, after you take the visa for life, is your medical test for life, or do you have to keep renewing that and paying for that? Emirates ID card, you have to keep renewing that, which I think you must. Business license, what? It's approved and finished. You don't have to renew ever again. So I feel there are a lot of inconsistencies here. And the surprising fact is they're even mentioning here explicitly, it comes without any additional costs. So you can go to the RAKEZ website and check out the details here. The duration or timeline is not being specified. Okay. So that is why I don't think this news is pretty valid. But if in case you have any information, just let me know. I really find this very hard to believe because if it is, you can be rest assured almost, I think, nearly every Tom, Dick and Harry, you could say nearly 50, 60, maybe 90% of everyone will just run to this. Why do you need to take any other visa? Okay. Second one, expat scam. Dubai residents have been targeted for a new banking fraud. And the reason why this one is worth talking about, even though there are quite a number of scams and frauds that are happening, this one they are targeting Emirates NBD customers. And it seems they have given the names of two victims who actually lost their entire month's salary through this fraud. Now, I know one of my friends who actually lost a sum of money. I think it was 10,000 or 16,000, in and around that much. But here's the problem. Once you lose the money, you can put in a request. How soon you'll get the money back is a very big question. My friend had the presence of mind to immediately call the bank and block the card and block the transactions. But that sum of money, why I'm not giving you the exact amount is because I do not want anyone being able to know who my client is. So 10 to 16,000, that's the range I'm giving you. And it's sad. It's really terrible. In fact, I feel really bad for those people who have lost a hell lot of money, and the bank says, put in a complaint and we'll conduct an investigation. I mean, when do you get your money back? Okay. I would just tell you, be careful, especially with WhatsApp links or articles, anything where you have to click and it takes you to a website or it takes you somewhere and says, or even when you log in and it says, give me, log in with your password. So just be very, very cautious. And when you're going to a website, read the website address. Never ever click on any link, any forwards, any share, even chats. So just be careful of that. Okay. Next one, UAE gives firm 2 weeks, all the companies, 2 weeks. You better hire Emiratis or face fines. I find this really absolutely ridiculous thing. I mean, you're forcing companies to employ Emiratis. Rather, I think the government needs to ask, which they know for a fact, they need to ask themselves, why the hell do companies don't want to employ Emiratis? Why? The reason being is because you can get people who can do the same work for cheaper. That is number one. Second one is these people tend to have expats. They tend to have more job fear than Emiratis. I'm not hating on them. There are Emiratis who are really competitive, who are really hardworking, but they definitely expect much more income than a normal person for the same job, same designation, same everything. Why? Because that is how UAE has given them the perks and benefits. See, if you have been accustomed to earning double, triple, 10 times more than your colleague, you don't want those benefits to go away. So you have made them enjoy big salaries. Now they don't want small salaries. That is why even graduates, Emiratis, they want 10,000 dirhams, 10,000 US dollars as a starting salary. So companies just don't want to employ someone like this. And I'll tell you, I have a client of mine who's working in a semi-government company. And, I spoke to him the other day and he said, in my company, we have expats. We have, expats means not just Indians, Brits, Americans, whatever. And we have Emiratis. He told me the Emiratis come on time and leave maybe on time or little bit before time. He's saying by the time it's time to go, they'll just start winding up and they're just looking at the clock and they just want to leave. It's all the expatriates who literally stay, sit and wait. So, when you have this kind of discrepancy, why would companies take? And then on top of that, remember, I've posted videos before where I've said this. An Emirati will never have job fear. He'll never be afraid. He will. And there have been times where Emiratis have literally threatened the employer who, if he is strict with them or if he puts his foot down or pressurizes them, they're threatened. I'll go to the labor and I'll complain. So who wants all this? So it seems that if you do not employ Emiratis, you will have a fine, and the fine is 11,400 US dollars annually or 42,000 dirhams. In fact, I feel most of the companies would rather pay the 42,000 fine than employ Emirati. Their target is 2% growth. And they have asked companies with 50 or more employees. Most of the companies, what they do is they play around with the loopholes and they employ 48 employees or 49. They don't go up to 50 because they know when I touch 50, I have to employ Emirati, might as well take 48, and other jobs, I'll just subcontract it to someone else. See, there are ways how you play around with the loopholes. That is why I tell people, when I help people get jobs in UAE, I work through the loopholes of the system, legal loopholes of the system. So the first deadline was June 30th. Second deadline was when that didn't work out. Second deadline, July 7th, when that didn't work out. Now, again, they're saying December 31st. I'll tell you, this is a saga. This is a story that will keep going on. They'll keep saying Emiratisation, Emiratisation. Nothing is going to happen. It's so sad to even think that their goal is just 2%. It's stuck at 1%. They wanted to push to 2%. 40 years I lived in UAE. Same story I've been hearing again. There's no improvement. I don't hate on the Emiratis, but when you remember this, when you don't have job fear, when you have a sense of entitlement, you cannot make them work. They will never be productive. Okay? And yes, almost all of them, their dream is to work for the government because that is where you get 2-3 months salary or 6 months salary bonus, plus you get perks, plus you get retirement, plus you get insurance, plus you get benefits from medical and all that. Although it's not perfect, but they get all this. So why would they work for a local company? Next one. This one is I don't know. I wouldn't say it's very good for the expats. Rather, I think it's an additional expense for the expats where they'll be supervised and monitored. UAE teachers will be allowed to offer private tuitions provided you apply for the new work permit. So here it seems that if you want to give people tuitions, especially students, instead of doing it hiding or instead of doing privately without informing anyone, apply for a work permit and you can do it. Now, I'll tell you the plus and minus. On the plus side, you can say, yeah, now you can do it legally, okay? And you don't have to worry about anything. But on the negative side, one is it's an additional expense for the teacher. As it is, why do they give extra private tuitions? Because the salary of the schools is not enough. I've had girlfriends who were teachers. It's not enough. It's seriously, their salaries are very, very little. That's why they actually work extras. They travel, they offer private tutoring so they can make some money. And on top of that, you want them to pay for a work permit. It'll literally eat up into whatever little bit they're saving. And then the second drawback is it will tempt teachers not to teach the students properly. So all of them would be dependent on the teachers so they can conduct private classes. And I know this for a fact because when I was a student, I had teachers who would be absolutely pathetic in the classroom, and they'd make it boring, they'd make it uninteresting, so that you would book extra classes. And I know one particular teacher who I don't want to name. He had around 30 people coming to his classes. He was literally minting money. His salary was very, very small. He was earning 5 to 6 times more just conducting extra tuition classes. Okay. And here it seems, the normal blah, blah that they give. This is a 2-year permit. They will give you a code of conduct and it will offer you, I don't know, host of benefits. What bloody host of benefits, But the part that I found a little weird is they're saying, okay, teachers in government, private schools, employees, unemployed individuals, and then pupils or even students who are 15 to 18 years old and even university students. Who the hell would want university students to teach children? I mean, I wouldn't, I wouldn't want that. I would prefer someone who has experience and wisdom, if in case I would, choose anyone. But then the only other drawback I can see in this is, I guess there are some people who can even blackmail the teachers who are giving private tuitions. That is if they come to their residence. But if a teacher goes to someone's residence, I think they'll just keep it hush-hush. Do I see this working? I just see this as an extra a way for UAE to make a bit of extra money, which is okay, fine. But for expats, I just see this as additional expense. As it is, life in UAE is challenging. This will make it even more challenging. Next one, you're talking work permits. Here they are going to, UAE has issued a federal decree. That means it's non-negotiable. Anyone who's on social media, you'll have to take a permit, or license. So it's for individuals, organization, media outlets, and even people from the free zone. Anyone producing content, any kind of content, online or offline, you have to get registered, okay, or you have to have a permit. Licensed individuals and media outlets. Now, this is where the red flag is. You will be supervised, and the council will conduct surveillance. That means you'll constantly be under their radar. In a way, I'm kind of glad I left UAE. So that I can do others. Imagine you have a YouTube channel and they're going to keep monitoring you and what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. And so you'll have a 12-month period to get this permission. And just to save face, they have even put, okay, it's extendable. So let's see, depending on how many people register. There are quite a number of people who have, content generation strategies in the Middle East. So I guess, especially UAE. But the compliance, there are 10 of them. I'll read out. The first 5 are, you have to have divine respect. What is divine respect? You have to respect Islam. First is Islam and all other religious beliefs. So Islam is primary. Second one, you will respect the country's sovereignty, symbols, institutions, supreme interests. Okay, fine. That is understandable. All the countries, whether I'm in Thailand or India, they'd always say uphold the country's sovereignty. That is fine. Number 3 is respect the directions and policies of the country and local international levels. That means any policy that comes out, you cannot criticize or have an opinion about it. Next one is avoid any adverse impact on UAE's foreign relations. That means anything they do abroad, you can't criticize. And then respect the culture, civilization, national identity, values of society, which I think is more or less sovereignty and all that. Fine. Okay. So these are the 5. In additional to that, the don'ts, this is a little scary. Don't circulate any information that offends national unity or social cohesion. That means anything that is offensive, you are in deep shit. Second one is don't incite violence, hatred, propaganda among members of society. See, the problem is when you say anything that is offensive, you can have an opinion that can be offensive, whether it's man or woman. So that's why it'll be a problem. Then show responsible use of UAE's legal and economic system. Okay, fine. That means don't try anything illegal, having, secret cryptocurrencies, all that. People say invest here and there, which is good. Respect privacy and individuals' private lives, which is a standard. But here people misuse the rule. That means even if you take a video and someone's car is photographed or in the video or number plate, accidentally, you can get in serious trouble. And I know of a very, there was this case many years ago where a female parked in the very wrong way. A British, a man or I think it's a lady, just took a photograph and said, see the way they are parking. And that lady was an Emirati who parked the car. She took her to court and it was a shit show, man. That lady got completely destroyed. I don't know if she got deported, but she had to pay a very big compensatory fine to that lady. And it was an absolute headache. Then last one is do not publish, broadcast, or circulate rumors, false, misleading news. Fine. That I understand because safety of the country. Next one is Dubai gaming. That has been picking up steam, both in Saudi, where they want to have EA sports competitions, which they are claiming millions of dollars. But this one, this company in entrepreneur.com, I think it's a sponsored article, not too sure. This gaming studio, Farkhana, they raised 10 million US dollars in a seed round. So what makes it kind of, I don't know, I'm not very big a fan of this. It seems that if you're the top 10 gamer in terms of your performance, they'll give you bitcoins. Now that itself for me is like, no, a big no. Just give cash. So when they say Bitcoin and this and that, it becomes Bitcoin and shitcoin. And then they're using fancy terms. We are going to give a tactical dimension into standard shooting games. They pre-tested this on June 2023, the Dubai Esports Festival, sponsored by Alienware and Dell. Well, I didn't see any big news splash about it, so I don't know whether how effective it is. But you can definitely say that gamers are getting now more and more opportunities. Can you make this a career is a big question. Okay. Last and not the least, this one was a bit shocker. UAE actually wants to purchase or be part owner in the Telegraph. Now, the Telegraph is very critical of the UAE. Okay. They have exposed UAE in many of its dealings. For example, this article itself, they're critical of UAE, saying that there's this guy, Mohammed Hamdan Dag Alo, okay, who is associated with the atrocities of Sudan. He has received support from the UAE. See, UAE has a stance in Africa, has a stance in Sudan, has a stance in, with the Yemen, against the Houthis and all that. So I know it is UAE's business. They have a stance in certain areas. And then they also have, they signed the Abrahamic Accord with Israel, but at the same time, they want to support the Palestinians. So UAE has its strategies. Sometimes it's very questionable. But in the international community, if they want to have good standing, you have to do what, the Western powers want you to do. For example, they aligned with Israel so that they could score points with USA. Okay. Now, here's the problem. When you take one side, you'll make the other side unhappy. So here it seems that this guy, Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, he has been accused of atrocities, including sexual violence, displacing millions, supporting conflicts in Ukraine. But UAE continues to back him. Reportedly, as per this article, they supply him with arms, militia. By the way, there are even contract workers, soldiers, and hackers that UAE employs. That article was there. It has been removed. Then UAE's involvement is beyond Sudan. They also have contract soldiers aiding Russia. How far that's true is anyone's guess. But now the concerns are they want to acquire shares with the Telegraph, or they want to own the Telegraph. Remember that UAE appointed its own guy in Interpol, and they bribed the British and EU politicians just to get out of the. There was this financial action task force where UAE was slammed for having a lot of illegal funds and unaccounted for money coming in, black money as they call it. They were in the anti-money laundering area. The spotlight was put on them. But after they greased a few British EU politicians who can't say, they call it sponsorship. They call it investing into the country. Because obviously, if you are a politician and you see a foreign country come with foreign exchange and invest into the country, into various projects, it's good for the country because you're helping people get jobs. And then they, turn a blind eye. So UAE is doing what UAE has to do, but not many people are very happy about it. In fact, that guy, that UAE citizen who has been jailed, it's still a massive scandal because they're not letting him go. Human Rights Watch, they're very particular of the fact. What's his name? I'll give you his name 1 second. Human Rights Watch is a prominent critic. I do not know why would he want to attack the ruling family. This what's his name? Ahmed Mansour. Yeah, Ahmed Mansour is still suffering. It's crazy. He has been in jail for so long and solitary confinement. I don't know when he's going to lose it all and just die. And there have been a couple of cases of people who are stuck in UAE. One of them was actually an ex-member of my WhatsApp group. I don't want to mention his name, and members of my WhatsApp group know who is he. He's portrayed as a saint in these articles, but he's actually a very deranged, racist. Uh, I mean, he's a terrible person. He was actually threatening violence on some of my members because they had an opinion against US policies or Western policies or whatever. So, the problem is the media portrays these people like a lot of tourists who came down to who come to UAE. If you break the rules, like there was one tourist who I think abused the uh, airport security lady, and she was jailed and fined $1,000. But they portrayed her as a saint. There was an American influencer who came driving trucks or something, and she violated something of UAE, and she was jailed. But they portrayed her as a saint and UAE as evil. See, when you come to a country as a guest, you don't start doing your jack shit. And these social media influencers, some of them, they are. In fact, today I saw one video, which obviously I can't share, of a female. Everything is surgery. You can make out she's flaunting her breasts and her ass. Okay. And how I knew it was UAE, because when I saw the cars moving, I saw Dubai number plate. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? And then she bends over to show, butt cheeks. So it's a matter of time before they get arrested, man. And then they say, oh, the human rights violation and all that. Go to your country and do all the shit there. That is why even tourists who come here, I sometimes get so pissed off. They go to a shopping mall or they go to a supermarket wearing swimming wear. I saw a lady wearing a bikini, almost like a skimpy bikini, only her nipples and the middle part of her, between her legs, was covered. And you're talking of family people and all that, and shopping, man. What are you doing here? There was a guy who was almost like wearing like a swimsuit kind of, trunks, and he was shopping in a coffee shop. What is this? You think people, when they see, they find this normal? I'm a tourist. Yeah, but you don't go around half naked everywhere. So anyway, so UAE apparently is going to buy Telegraph, but Telegraph people who under anonymity have expressed that they don't want to be associated with the UAE, and they emphasize the importance of maintaining Telegraph's independence and integrity. So what do you think? Do you think UAE should purchase or shouldn't purchase? So anyway, these are the 8 headlines trending all across the world about UAE. Which one do you think stands out? Did I miss anything? Feel free to share those links. And yes, good, bad, ugly, I'd love to hear from you. Some of you did send me a bit of controversial news, but the reason I don't want to share them is because I know the real side of those stories, and sometimes the media only shows one side of the story, not the other side. I prefer a balanced point of view. Okay? Good, bad, ugly. Share your comments down below. This is me signing off. And yes, if there's anything interesting, feel free to email it to me. Your identity will be kept anonymous. You guys take care. This is me signing off. Ciao.